All right, we're live for another Keeping It Real. Actually, kind of a Keeping It Real. We've changed it up. We just recently changed our whole format of what we're doing here. Is now we're doing Keeping It Real on location, and our first episode. We're live for another Keeping It Real. Actually, kind of a Keeping It Real. We've changed it up. Oh, I can hear myself talking. Who's that from?
Jeff, you might have another window.
Keeping It Real on location, and our first episode.
Who is that? Jeff, do you have the window open of yourself?
Yeah, Jeff, we're getting all kinds of feedback.
Hang on. Does that fix it?
I think it did.
Jeff has another window open of like it playing live. He has to change. He has to close that window. Go on, Jeff.
All right. Anyway, so sorry about that. So while Jeff Quintin gets his computer set up, we actually changed our format. We're now doing Keeping It Real on location, meaning we're going on location with guests like Jeff Quintin, and we're hanging out 2 to 3 days with them and shadowing them and diving in deep into their business, how they generate business and all that good stuff. So our first episode was with Jeff Quintin, and then we're going to follow it up with live Q&As like this one. So that's the reason why it was live Q&A with Jeff Quintin, is we're going to follow up with Jeff with a bunch of questions I've been getting by email, and then any live questions we actually got. And I'd just like to thank Jeff Quintin and his team for allowing us to go into his office and invade their world. I've been getting by email.
Boom.
And then any live.
Jeff Quintin, what you're going to have to do, man, is I think your audio is not coming through your earbuds.
Going to his office.
You have to turn your speakers down a lot, and you have to get rid of the other browser that has this playing live. So we're having like a lot of reverb coming through you, Jeff.
Are you talking about Jeff Quintin?
Yes.
Yeah, like for Jeff Quintin, your earbuds. So guys, hang on here. We're going to coach him through this. There's a little sprocket. When you roll your mouse over my face, Jeff Quintin, there's a little sprocket at the very top. I want you to change your default speakers to your headphones, and that will solve the problem. Because there's audio coming out of your speakers. It's coming back into your microphone.
I know. Is it doing it anymore?
No, you're good.
All right. So I don't hear myself.
Yep, we're good.
Beautiful. Okay, perfect. All right. So we just want to thank Jeff Quintin for joining us. If you have not seen the episode, you really need to go watch it, because the reviews we've been getting have been amazing. You go to the Real Geeks blog, and it's a post on there. You can go to the Real Geeks YouTube channel. You can go, where else can you go? Oh, iTunes too, and search Real Geeks or Keeping It Real. I think if you search Real Geeks, you'll find it on iTunes as well. Hey, Jeff, thanks a lot for rushing over here.
No problem. Had to turn off the radio here.
Yeah. So Jeff was actually on his boat here 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. It's his day off, so he rushed over here for this live Q&A. So I'm going to jump right in, Jeff. I got probably about 10 or 11 questions that people emailed back for this show after I sent them an email of the episode and after they watched it. The first one, Tina asked, what voicemail broadcast system do you use?
Okay, sure. Can you hear me okay now?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, so the voice broadcast system I use is called Voice Logic, and it's a company out of Canada, and I can connect you guys there. It's a guy named Kieran that I use now, and it's a system it's automated, where it's simply where you can upload a voicemail message and send it out to as many people as you want and drop right into their voicemails, kind of like a slide dial type of voice broadcast.
And obviously you're doing it. So somebody else had asked on one of my groups was that if he's using that, they don't really like these recorded voicemails. What kind of response are you getting when you shoot one of those out? What kind of results?
So I've been doing it for years. I've been doing this for, probably over 10 years now. And I've saturated different markets. I've been able to go into new markets. I've been able to go in and expand in other markets through this. I would say that if you're going to blast out, virtually 1,000 voice broadcast messages, you're probably going to get at least 2 to 3 or 4. I mean, you're going to get probably 20, 25 callbacks. But out of that, 2 or 3, maybe 4 tops that are going to be hot leads, and you're going to convert 1 or 2 easily. Ultimately, as to 1,000 or so. Depends on the market. Depends on the message. There's a little bit of strategy to it. You got to do a message that's pretty direct. You got to speak tell them exactly what it is that that you want them to hear. You can't mumble. It should be like about 25 seconds or less message. And so, when we do that, we get a tremendous response. It's better than a 1,000 email blasts or it's better than a 1,000-piece mailing, in my opinion.
Sure.
Postcard. And I virtually can do 1,000 of those, whether it's 100, 1,000, or 4,000 messages. Load it up right now, record the message, and send it out. Dropped into their voicemails. It'll be delivered within 30 seconds to 1 minute, like that. And my phone will buzz back and ring all day.
Sure. So it's a direct message. So when you're doing this, now this is my question. If you're doing this, what is your target? Obviously, are you doing it to expireds, old expireds, or just listed, just sold? I mean, what is the normal criteria when you're going to actually send one of these out?
So, here's the thing. I look at it this way. It's very efficient. And so if I'm trying to get to a large group of people quickly and deliver a message that's I think impactful, it can be done quick. And I'm going to say something like this so that you can get a little perspective to it.
Sure.
So, and again, it can be sent to any type of topic, whatever it may be. If I want to send out, to 1,000 realtors in my area, introducing a new listing or a price reduction, I can do that. I can send 1,000 realtors and ask them about, hey, do you have any listings that are coming up that's going to expire the 15th or 30th of this month that you're not going to get back? And ultimately, would you mind if you're not getting them extended or whatever, if they're going to leave you, refer them to me. I'll give you a referral fee. I mean, that's just another little message of another source that you could send messages to. I'm trying to, you can think out of the box a little bit, not just a buyer or seller. It could be anything. So if I'm going into a neighborhood or an area, the message may be something like, hey, this is Jeff, your realtor down the shore, Keller Williams, the Quintin Group. We have a buyer specifically looking for a property in your neighborhood. They're between 1st and 3rd Street. They've seen all the inventory that's on the market currently. So if you're already in the market, disregard this message. My buyer's ready to go, ready, willing, able, cash. They're willing to buy your home because it's in this neighborhood. If you'd like to know how much they're willing to pay for your home, call me back immediately at 123-123. And then that's it. So, and ultimately, people that are serious about selling or curious that aren't on the market will call you.
Awesome. All right. So that reminds me of something. Since we got a kind of a screwed up beginning, I had an idea because I'm sure agents want to know how to get more referrals from other agents, right? I mean, we all do, right?
Sure.
So my idea is if they really got a lot of value out of that first episode of Keeping It Real on Location with Jeff Quintin, they should send that to every one of their realtor friends across the country and say, hey, I think this might be able to help your business. I was thinking of you. So if they did that, and we're actually planning on releasing these once a month or sometimes somewhere around once a month. We just are cutting up the one we just did in Las Vegas. And we got one we're going to be doing recording or going on location at the end of September. If they did that to their realtor database and did that consistently and sent stuff like the episode that you did with us, because there's so much value there, who are they going to think about when they have a referral in their market? The person that's sending them stuff that's going to help them build their business. So just an idea, if I was thinking about long term and wanting to leverage my realtor connections across the country, I would be doing that and sending that out to them, letting them know, so that way I would be Facebooking them, sharing it on Facebook, I would be sending them emails, whatever, letting them know about this and thought it would help their business. I think they could grow their business doing that. So just a thought, all right? And that helps us distribute this as well, but it's actually going to help you in the long run if you look at the big picture. So I got Tina asked another question. Since they're both prospecting the leads, what happens if they continue to follow up on the same lead? Who gets paid if both are speaking to the same lead? So she's referring, she watched the episode and saw both you and David probably calling expireds, probably calling a lot of the same expireds. So what happens in those scenarios? You guys are both calling probably the same list, correct?
Yeah. So you understand. So David itself on my team is my listing partner. So he's my listing agent partner. Specifically, ultimately goes out and lists. And he's now taking the role of replacing me in the production side. So whether he calls the same lead or I'm calling the same lead, ultimately it's going to be the same anyway. So that's how that's going to work. However, let's just look at someone else in our office, whether it's Frank or John or Phil or whoever it may be, another salesperson. If they're calling the expired and we're calling the expired, hey, it's about the skill. So if I can call the expired right now and I'm going to get that appointment, I'm going to get the appointment. If I call it right now and I didn't get the appointment, and then John in my office calls or Frank calls 5 minutes later and gets it, good for them. It's their lead. You know what I mean? It's going to be competitive. And I want it to be that way. I don't want it to be, oh, well, I talked to that guy first, and that means I can't call him. If it's expired, hey, there's 16 other realtors calling them. We just got a better shot of two of the 16 in my office are going to be calling them. So, you know, you've got to have your skills at my team to do it. It'll be competitive, but we're not so worried about it because we have enough expires in our market, and there's enough business out there that you know, there's going to be another one that's going to come along.
All right, since you're talking about skills, actually, John's got a question that actually falls right in line after that. John asks, why do they role play? Why do they have role play Why do they have role play partners if they're calling 3 hours a day? Isn't that good enough?
So, I would say, I mean, certainly when you are playing the game, you aren't practicing, right? So just like anything else, I mean, you certainly can practice during the game, but are you going to, you know, practice your shots from, at the, wherever you are, let's just say you're in tennis, are you just going to do, baseline shots the whole time? Or are you going to have net game? Or are you going to have, what you going to do? So, we're always going to practice before we get in the game. We're going to go through the motions. We're going to do all different subjects and topics, whatever it may be, as far as in the role plays, objection handlers or expireds or whatever it may be. So the worst thing is that I say is you don't want to practice on your clients. You want to practice on each other, get really good, and then certainly you can go out and practice on your clients if you want. But if you already know what to say, how to say, and you're warmed up for it, when that objection or that scenario or that dialogue comes along, you're ready for it. If you're trying to practice on it, and you haven't already done it a half hour before, an hour before, and all of a sudden you get to throw a curveball thrown at you, now you're going to be maybe possibly stumbling, versus if you had that same curveball sent to you 2 hours ago, you already handled it. You've practiced in advance, which makes your skills better, so that when you're in the game, you're sharp.
Yeah, and I would add to that too, is if you're doing it every day 3 hours, you're probably coming up with some things or some new twist on it, and then you want to practice it the next day, so the next time somebody brings that up, you're prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I play golf now, and well, at least I try to attempt to play golf.
We all do.
I would never, I'm trying to get. Let's say I'm 60 yards in for an approach shot around the green. I wouldn't, try a practice shot. I'm going to go for the shot to get me on the green. However, I would rather go back to the side of the green at the practice, range, and have a bucket of balls and practice that same shot over and over again. I mean, could you imagine? So you only have one shot. When you're playing the game, you have one shot. When you practice, you have 10 shots.
Exactly, and you're building that muscle memory in your brain. And here's the deal. When you're prospecting every day and you're trying to get an appointment, second is it doesn't win anything. You either win the listing or you don't. And second place gets 0.
But, the thing is, I agree. And that's the thing, is when you also are practicing role-playing, you have to role-play as if you're playing. So if you're practicing, you practice as if you're in the game. Yes. You make it as live, as real as possible. You have your role play part on the other side to be hard on you, and you set the scenario up as if it already happened, if it's going to happen. So that when you are in the game, then you're ready for it.
All right, great. And then Jim asks, what headset and rig does Jeff use? They see your double headset, I think, that you rigged up. I think they're 2 Plantronics you put together.
Yeah. So yeah, what I do is this is it's a Plantronics headset, right? It's a Plantronics, and then what I do is I buy. I'll just show you how this looks. So when they come normally as a normal headset, you have just one side, right?
Yep.
And you have another side. And you can unclip.
This is real-time live, baby.
He's beating something up.
I'm trying to get to the it's in this drawer down here. So when these come out of the box, it comes like like a normal headset. Looks like this. Yeah, right.
Right.
So it comes like this. So it's just one band.
Sure.
You unclip this one, then you get the other one. So you buy 2 of them, and then what you do is you buy what they call like a binaural band. One here and one here. So then you take the one headset and you clip it in here. And you take the other one off and then you clip it in here.
Oh, this is cool.
Right? And then so now you have a double headset.
There you go. Double
There you go.
headset, Plantronics put together. And what models are those? The single right ones? You know offhand? Or?
So I don't know. It's just a regular headset that you can get,
Sure.
just the normal one, right? But then
Okay.
what I have after that connects through, and it connects into a they call it
the M22 or whatever, right?
yeah, exactly. It's an M22. It's a you got that. You're good.
Yeah.
So you
Come
know.
on, I got Plantronics at home too.
Yeah. Perfect. So this is just the amplifier. Plugged
That's
into
per
that.
phone. Per phone.
Per phone, yeah. So then on here you have your volume. This is the on-off button and the mute button. Okay. And then that plugs right into the phone.
And the phones plug in there, and you can actually get an extension, so you can walk 20, 30 feet if you want.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. You can. I mean, mine. I got long. I mean, mine. They're all corded, you know. So
Yeah.
it's all corded all the way through. It's old school, but it's clear.
Hey, I love old school. Old school freaking gets shit done and converts. So the next one is, what scripts do they use? And you use Mike Ferry scripts, correct?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I use primarily all Mike Ferry scripts, and you can always get them from MikeFerry.com website. Go down to one of the drop boxes that's complimentary scripts. You go down there, and all the scripts are there. So primarily, it's all Mike Ferry scripts.
So you use those, and they're objection handlers, and then you guys have probably gotten other objection handlers that you've got written on there that you've come up with, right?
Yeah. I mean, if you can, I'll try to point this here. Maybe you can see. So see this flip chart right here?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is where all my scripts are. Okay. And then so all the scripts that we work with are on the flip. So if I'm calling to a tire pre-call, it's all there. Then the wall here is all the objections.
Right. And do you have a list of tie downs as well?
Yep. So see right here. Well, if you can see it right here, you can read it says closes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but
Yep, closes. We can see
closes.
that.
That's exactly why we need to set an appointment. We need to get together. Your equity's on the line. You know what I mean? If I can sell your home the next 30 days, would that pose a problem for you? So they're all there. So we have all the objections on the walls and all the scripts on the flip chart.
All right, awesome, cool. And then the next one, Sam asks, how do you find your team members? Sam wants to know how you find how you go about finding your team members.
So, in the past, I guess, last 10 years or a lot of my career, I've always had a smaller team. And then this year itself, I now have moved over to Keller Williams, and I'm really starting to build my team out, build more leverage, and understanding the process of recruiting and the process of hiring and making the right hire and finding the right people. So my process now has changed a whole bunch than it used to be. And so I've actually, a couple things. One is I've hired a couple people to help me that have gone out and recruit. And right now I have not a full-time recruiter, it's outsourced. But I have a gal right now that's helping me, her name is Tiffany, screen and take everybody through what was before is the recruit select process. Now it's called the career visioning process. So through Keller Williams, you have the Keller personality assessment, the KPA that they're taking through, and that whole entire process. So I've outsourced a portion of that to someone that will go out, put the ads out there through all the other social areas, write the ads, put them out there, and collect all of the resumes. And she'll then screen the resumes, follow up with the people, all the candidates coming in. And then also part of our process now is we have them send us a video, a 2-minute video why we should hire them, so we can see them, we can see the rate of speech, just kind of get to feel who they are. And so we have that getting done. In addition, I'm having a web page, a landing page built out, like a career page about joining our team, where they can actually upload a resume to it and then record the video there. And then it actually has me asking them questions, almost a 2-way video, because every time when I get somebody in here, depending on the role, I want to ask a few different key questions about, for example, if they're brand new, getting into business, do they have their finances in order to sustain, not to get paid for say 90 days, 3 months to 6 months,
Sure.
And be able to jump into business, 2 feet in the deep end without having a second job and make it a real deal. So different questions like that. So anyway, to answer the question. I've outsourced part of that, but you can upload an ad to Indeed. You can put it out there on Craigslist. You can put them in all different areas, and then drive people back to somewhere they can upload the resumes to.
Sure. All right. Somebody else asked basically the same thing, but they added on there. What do you look for in an interview? when you're interviewing these people? And I'm sure that would probably be different for different roles.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of different things, and through the career visioning process, that's a class that KW is teaching now. They teach you what to look for and what the questions to ask. But you're going to ask them, ultimately, do they have any type of prior track record? Are they emerging talent? Are they proven talent? They're proven in a certain area of another business. Are they emerging? Can you by teaching the skills, can they emerge into someone? Are they new in whatever it may be? You want to go through and look at their life story. What were they like in high school? What were they about? What have they done? And what's some of the significant things that they've happened in their life? I'm looking for that guy or gal that was maybe the person that was I don't know, maybe a leader of some sort. Whether they I don't know, somebody that was a yoga instructor that went through 200 hours of training and has discipline. Or something. I'm just giving you some thoughts as far as what to look for as far as background,
Sure.
because a lot of times their their history and their habits and all, you start asking those questions will lead into their professional life, and that's who you're hiring.
Sure.
And then in addition to that, you take it even deeper. You want to be able to dig deep as far as references is concerned. Find 3 people and go deeper into that 3 people that they can recommend, and find out who they are, and their strengths and weaknesses, and all that stuff. So
all right, great.
It's so important to make the right hire, because we all know that not making the right hire can cost you a whole lot more.
Yeah, we all know that. We've been there.
Yeah.
So Sean asks, how did you find your VA and who trained them? I would imagine they're referring to the VA that does all your number researches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So, I've got 2 different virtual assistants. I've had several different ones over the years. But say, for example, the one that does all of the expired information for me, her name is Leah. And, certainly we can always have it outsourced to Red X and Vulcan 7 and all the other, and they're all good. I just wanted somebody to do it specifically for my market and the secondary market, pulling up the specific tax record information, where to go get the phone numbers, how I want it delivered back to me, putting it in Mojo, doing all that kind of stuff. So virtually, whenever we have, whether it's virtual assistant or an assistant within the office, everything we're always going to do is we're going to record everything. So through Jing, we put Jing, which is Jing, on our computer, and Jing is a screen recorder. So if I'm going to outsource to somebody and I want to train them on the process of where they need to go to download everything from the MLS, and then go here to this website to get phone numbers, go here to our database to get this number, go to Infusionsoft to get that number, whatever they're going to do, I'm just going to screen record that and then save that, and that's going to go in our Dropbox, so it's always there. So if anybody ever else needs to jump in that position, we already have it pre-recorded. So when we train them, we actually show them specifically, and then I record it, send it to them, and then have them watch it and study it. It's
all right, great.
You got to take a little bit of time to do it.
And how did you find your VA?
So whether I've got one through, and I've had before through My Outdesk, which is a virtual assistant company that has tons, 800 to 1,000 resumes always sitting there, or pre-approved, people in the Philippines. So there, you can also go virtual. I have certainly virtual assistants that do a lot of project work for me, and it goes through Upwork. Used to be Elance, so it goes through Upwork. So I just post that on there, and then also through Fiverr. If you guys ever use Fiverr, Fiverr's awesome for little projects, and as far as flyers and renderings, whatever you need done, go to Fiverr.com and you post those. These are sites you post the job, and then all the VAs bid it back, and you get people that will do these projects for $3 an hour, $5 an hour, sometimes flat fee. A lot of them are in Philippines, India, wherever they are. Pakistan, and you submit the job today. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, it's done and delivered to your email. As you're sleeping, they're working.
All right, great. And then George asks, how are you able to keep doing the same thing every day, and how are you able to overcome the boredom?
So I think we all have at some point, whether you're in the business 30 days, 90 days, 3 years, 30 years, some type of repetitious boredom, right? So, I think that once you have a big why, once you have a lot of goals, once you have a lot of dreams, once you want to get things done, once you have a lot of list of to-dos, that gets you up in the morning. Right now, I have to-do lists, and every single day they never get finished. So, you know, I'm able to always have that drive because I'm looking at being exposed to other things in life and other people that are doing a lot more than me, and that's just what I'm hungry for. So when you're hungry for that and you're exposed to it, it pushes me towards it. I mean, as you know, as I sit here now, I mean, this is my dream board, and as I'm sitting, you can see all the shit on my board, and there's some things on here that I have accomplished, and there's a whole lot I haven't. So this is what I look at every day. When I have that to look at, it reminds me why I'm what I want, you know.
All right, awesome. And then I got one more that emailed in. Ed asked, how often do you call your COI or SOI?
We call our center of influence pretty regularly. I mean, we have our past clients. I'll say it together. So it's past clients and center of influence. We break that group up in different ways. So we have our top VIP clients. We call them once a month. We have what we call as a AA client, which is like a client that's not a VIP client, but they like us and we love them, and we get referrals from them and that kind of thing. But they're not solely like a VIP client, you know, like it's over the top, you know.
Right.
We'll call them every 60 days. We have an A client. That's a good client. We can get referrals from them, but they're probably not going to give us one every day. They're every 90 days on the B client. We're going to call them every 6 months just to let them know we're still in the business.
All right. So the longest gap you let go is 60 days or 6 months.
6 months, yeah. And those are people typically, someone that we maybe listed their home and their second homeowner at the time, and then they sold and they moved out of the area, and they're living in Philly or they moved wherever they is, and they're not really connected to the area anymore.
Sure. And then when you're calling them, what are you saying to them? They asked, or Ed asked.
Yeah, I mean, so part of the script is, I mean, the past clients are what script I want to have right here. It's very simple. It's just like, hey, this is Jeff. I'm calling about some business. Do you have a quick minute for me? And they say, yeah. And I just, I might go into them that, the market right now is very strong. There's lots of great opportunities. I'm just calling to see who do they know that wants to buy, sell, or invest right now here at the shore in the next, say, 60 to 90 days or 7 to 10 days or wherever it is. Let them talk and then ultimately ask them from there. They say, no, I don't know anyone. I'm going to try to bring them at that point to a reference. So can you think of anybody you work with, anyone at all, from the gym, anyone you think I should call and introduce myself to that may want to hear from me regarding real estate? And then, they'll say yes, no, whatever. And then I'll go and ask them, when they plan on selling their property. Are they familiar with what they can get for it in the market? If they were to sell, would they reinvest? Have they thought about buying some additional investment property? And then at the end, I'm always going to close them with, hey, can I count on you that next time you hear of someone that's looking to buy or sell that you would refer them to me? Oh, sure, Jeff, no problem. Okay, good, I appreciate it. I'll be in touch. So it's a very simple script. We're going to add on there sometimes, who do you know that's having trouble selling their home? Is there anyone in your neighborhood you've seen that's been on the market a long time that's failed to sell that you think I should introduce myself to? So I want to start planning this kind of thing. So it's coming from a position of contribution about what's going on in the market and then tying it back around to who do they know? I'm training them to refer business to us.
All right, awesome. So those are all the email questions that I got, which was a decent amount after we sent out the episode. I think we've already got up just within 2 weeks, over 4,000 people have viewed that. So that's pretty good. I mean, they're loving it. And the feedback that we're getting is tremendous. They are so thankful. I got a broker saying, I got my whole office watching this. I've got people saying, I'm sharing it with this, or my team. I made my whole team sit here. This is what we're doing on office meetings is watching this. So you brought a lot of value to a lot of people by opening up your office and giving back and contributing to the real estate family here.
Yeah, man, no problem. I mean, it's look, it's guys like you, Frank, that have. First, I'm honored to have been invited to this and do this and peel back the curtain of my business because you guys have done this for others and yourselves, and that's the only way we're going to learn and grow. I mean, so I'm all about that.
Sure.
So I appreciate it, very much.
Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit about, obviously I'm with Viral and Jeff's with Real Geeks and you use us. Let's talk about some few questions with that about maybe what you're doing for your buyer internet lead generation, what works there. Now let's talk about some questions about how you're using video marketing in your database.
Sure.
Let's start with your internet lead generation, your lead response with buyer leads, and how that side of your business works with your Real Geek site.
Yeah, so everything that we have as far as internet leads coming in, mostly all buyers, again, sellers with the home value tool, everything's going to be pulled in, from Real Geeks, and then that's going to push into Infusionsoft, and then from there we're going to send out our campaigns off and so forth, and then our Real Geek site comes in the back end. It's going to run robin out to our agents, and they're going to call them through there, and they're going to put the notes in, and we see it. It gives us all the intel behind the scenes as far as what they're doing. So it's a great. We've had a huge success with it because it allows us to keep everybody and have all our leads live in one place. One of the things I recently implemented through you guys, Frank, which was nice, is through the videos, is that every time a lead comes in, automatically there's within I don't know what it is, 30 seconds, a video gets automatically sent back to that lead, it's for me, letting them know that a salesperson from my team is going to be back in touch with them very shortly. So there's a video that comes up that's just communication right back to them, instead of someone just waiting around or text or whatever. It's a video coming right back. You guys to help me do, which is pretty cool.
Good.
So it's it's been great through that, and obviously we're staying in touch with our entire database through what you guys do for us. More than either twice a month or more than twice a month, depending on what's going on. And sending out the videos, recording them, sending them over to Reed at your company is able to get them out to our database for us, and then obviously on the blog and doing all the things you guys do. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, if you have a chance to go check out Jeff Quintin's video blog, you probably have done some of the best videos for the longest time of anyone. And we've been working together 5 years. Go
That's
check
awesome.
out. Yeah, it's incredible. So go check out Jeff Quintin's YouTube channel. There's a lot of really good video topics. It's a wonderful, wonderful job.
Yeah, man, I just got a lead last night. So I was let me see something here. Last night, and the guy the lead came back from a video that you guys had just sent out. Let me see if I can read it to you. This just comes to mind. This is virtually last night. If I can find it on my phone. But anyway, the guy got a video from our last blast that went out, and coincidentally, it was a listing that he had bought from another broker, another agent, and I was actually the listing agent back in 2003. So this is someone that I had a listing, another agent who actually is now out of the business. He bought my listing to another agent. Anyway, somehow, whatever, he's in my database. So I got him in here, and he responded back from my last video that went out to the blog. And that video that went out to the blog was like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So it was delayed, and then he just sent back and said, hey, we're thinking about getting our property on the market for sale. Can you give us a market analysis, tell us what's going on, blah, 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 blah. But his reply back from the from the video, or was a reply back from the blog video that was sent out.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So,
If anyone has any questions, by the way, feel free to ask them on the Q&A here on the right. That's why we're here to talk live with Jeff. All right.
So that's great story. So, like I said, I wanted to thank you again, and I did notice one thing when we were on location, that Jeff and his team are always squeezing the orange, as he said, meaning they were always, if they didn't get an appointment, they were always trying to get an email to add to their database, to then add them to their Real Geeks website so they can put them on a market report or solds, and then that would also go into the queue to send the monthly videos. So every call, they're trying to get as much as they can from the call, right, Jeff?
Yeah, that's part of it. We had an agent here yesterday shadowing us, and he was doing a just listed, just sold call, and it got pretty much shut down. It was one of those things where, when do you plan on moving? Never. Or when I die, take me out in the box. The whole thing, we won't be for forever. So the he got through the script of some sort, but it was kind of a dead end kind of thing. And he says, what do I do from there? How do I do it? And I said, hey, man, you're going to get that all the time. People are going to say, I'm not interested, take me on the box, whatever. But if you can provide them, some type of value for the moment or future value, the goal is to put them in your database. You've got to convert that, because if you're making 30 contacts a day and you get 20 of those, wouldn't it be great to get 10 more emails or 15 more emails, or all of them, if you knew what to say? So that the add-on is, like that, what I was sharing with him and say, I appreciate you have no interest in selling right now. That's perfect. And I'm sending a market report to all of your neighbors all the time, showing them if their values are going up or going down and what's selling in the neighborhood. Your neighbors are absolutely loving it. I'll make sure I send that to you. What's your email address? And then, by doing that, it's not, can I have your email address? May I have your email address? Can I send you this? No, I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Your neighbors love it. Here's what I'm providing that you need to know about. What's your email address? I'm like asking. I'm not asking. I'm kind of commanding you. What's your email address?
Yeah, what's your email address? I'll put you on the list as well.
What's your email address? It's blah 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 Comcast.net. Okay, cool. I'll make sure you get a copy of it. And by the way, if you see that value and it interests you about getting your home on the market, would you be sure to call me? Yeah, no problem. So again, it's future based, but that's part of building that database that we talk about.
Yeah, building the database and thinking in real estate long term, not just today. You're building the database for the future, and that's where a lot of people miss.
And that's what we talked about before, especially with Frank. I mean, Frank knows this as well. He taught me this. I mean, we're in the real estate business, but we're really in the database building business. And Frank's in the database building business, but also learning how to communicate to them often and how. I mean, so that's what I've really learned is build that database big, communicate it to it often, and watch your business flourish and watch more come list me calls. Certainly, you got to stay in touch, but you got to continue to ask for and build the database. But you now got to communicate to it. But if you have no database to communicate to, then it's then you have a small business.
Cool. We got a question that came in, and up on our website, if anyone wants a copy of that marketing plan Jeff uses, is up on the homepage now. All right, Jeff. On the video, Gino asks, you said you get a 10x return on Zillow, but only spend $1,000 a month. Why not spend more?
Because I guess it's a good question. It's like anything else. Like, how much money do you want to continue to spend out each and every month? Once I get more buyers agents on my team and train them up, then I could probably start to maybe spend a little bit more. But at the same time, I have a team that's focused on listings, and when we're focused on listings, our buyers automatically come to us from sign calls, internet calls, organic traffic. So I already get 60 leads a day without Zillow. I get maybe 30, 40 a month, but I get the other 150 from other areas that don't cost me that $1,000. So, I have to always look and dissect my business and say, okay, do I want to continue to go out and buy a business, which certainly there's a return to it, which has been good, or do I want to continue to learn how to fish and teach my guys how to fish and have a more profitable business? So it's always a balance to see which direction to go. I don't think there's any right or there's no wrong. It's just a matter of how your business is done.
Yeah, and I think learning how to fish and building a good foundation, and then you add these on, and you add different commissions to it, as our good friend Matthew would say, commission stacking. So you've got to build a foundation, especially the market's going to turn here in the next year or two or three, and you better know how to fish, and you better have some sales skills, because when the market starts going down, you better learn how to call expireds and FSBOs, otherwise you're going to die.
That's right.
Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. We didn't have Zillow when I started this business in '92, or even year 2000. It really that whole internet lead generation thing's all come into play in the last basically 15 years. So in the early days, we didn't have that shit. So you have to learn how to call expireds for sellers, just listen, just sold, door knock, go out and get it. And thank God that we did learn those skills. I don't need Zillow. I could get rid of that now. I think I have Zillow. One is to be able to say I have Zillow and I'm a premier, because I think consumers want to hear that sometimes, and say I'm a premier, agent on there. But do I need it? No. Should I ramp it up more? I could. I don't know. Why don't I just hire another ISA for the same money, let them go prospect and generate another 5 or 10 listings a month? The return there is going to be a lot greater.
Right. And as the market shifts, you definitely need to learn how to fish. And actually, the agents that have the skills in a downturning market, and everybody should start preparing for this, because there is a shift coming. If you have those skills, you can actually grow your business in a downturning business, while the other agents that don't have the skills are actually, their business is declining, but you can actually take more of a share if you know how to go and get those listings and get them priced right.
Even if you stayed the same in a decline, that's actually, you're getting a good market share. because everybody else is going down as you've stayed the same, which means actually
I actually personally think there's more opportunity, and I welcome a downturning market.
Gino asks again, what's your ROI on ISA?
So it depends on. Okay, so there's a couple things on that. So our role, there's two things. We've had ISAs that, and our basic ISAs are those that start as an ISA as a junior agent and then graduate into an agent. So when they're starting out as an ISA, they're going to be setting appointments for other agents. They're going to be in that role 3 to 6 months. On that return, between 3 and 6 months is low, but once they become an agent is when the return starts to happen because they've already built the foundation through learning what to do and how to do for other agents, and then once they flip out of doing it for someone else, now they had to do it for themselves, and now they're launched in the right direction. So the return really comes later on once they're out on their own. What does that look like? I mean, I don't know. I haven't calculated specifically. The other ISAs where they've I haven't calculated all the way through on an annual basis, but Adam, who was one of our ISAs before, he's not here anymore, but I think the last month he didn't work out. Ultimately, last month he was here. He, I think, ended up closing about 6 or so deals that he had previously teed up, and so his bonuses were around 3,000. So what was that? I'm sorry, his total. I'm not sure. I look at the numbers, but ultimately he generated probably about 60,000. His bonuses around 5 or something like that.
What do you pay an ISA? Let's start with that.
The ISAs I have are, and again, if they're coming as a junior agent, $10 an hour. So they're working 40 hours a week, $400 a week. They're paid at $50 an appointment set, $250 when the lead itself goes under contract, and $500 when it closes. So the total payout is $800 per deal when it closes, but it's $50, $250, $500 when it closes, and $10 an hour.
Cool. All right. Sweet.
All right, that's great. Are there any more questions, or are we ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Robert asks to get a copy of that video marketing plan. It's on the front of our website, Viral Marketing. The whole idea, what Jeff does, is he builds a database of emails, sends out 2 educational videos a month, and then calls the people that watches the videos. That's what we do. It's up on the site, so you can check it out there.
All right. Well, hey, Jeff, I'd like to thank you again. You and your team were awesome. You were great hosts, and we had an awesome time there in the Jersey Shore, and it was just a lot of fun, and you're helping a lot of agents, so I want to thank you.
I appreciate it. It's a good time. Next, I got to come out. First, I got to come out and visit you in San Diego, and then you and I got to go visit him in Hawaii.
Yeah, you guys got to come out.
We got to do the reverse.
All right, great. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Aloha.
See you guys.
Aloha.